Hello, everybody. All right, so today is Thursday, November 9th, 2023. So, of course, we're going to give it a set give people a chance to come in. If you haven't already, of course, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That would be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, that we talk about tonight, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we'll try to answer the questions to the best. And I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Let me just see if I can. Dropping a few little reminders here for people to see if we can people to come in. Let's see. Anyways, all right. So as I said, we're just waiting for more people to show up here. We're now at the coming up on the 2 minute mark here. So let's see. Let's see. Walking in a town in a faceless crowd, I need to feel the touch of a friend. In the countryside, I wander far and wide. The isolation gets me again. I don't know where to go when I feel like crying. Oh my, it's time to open myself. Do something new, I want to stop and grow up a bit. And suddenly my intuition and my wisdom grow. And then I know that most of all, passionately, strangers wherever I go. Thank you for waking me up. Okay, all right. So now we're coming up on 3 minutes here. Okay, so here's what's on tap for tonight. We're going to be going over the Indie Comics Showcase article from Bleeding Fool. So previewing those a little bit. Also, of course, we'll have the wrestling wrap up tonight, as well as this day in each history. So with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and get started then? Checking some things here. All right. All right, so let's go ahead and get started then. Hey, Cement Shoes. Good evening, my friend. If you haven't already, if you can help out by liking and sharing the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, again, anything we talk about here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Thank you for the like and share. So let's see if we can let's get going here on this one article we're doing tonight. All right, so Indie Comics Showcase number 247, Diary of Dread, Red Eyes, and uh, Raquel 2. Article by Chris Braley, published yesterday. Here we go. Welcome back to another installment of Indie Comics Showcase, the weekly blog where we signal boost a few truly independent comics that are currently crowdfunding their projects, crowdsourcing their funding in some way, or just simply self publishing on their own. Every little bit of support for these creators matters, from a single dollar pledge to the $25 bundle, and of course, the higher tiers are usually fun too. Even if you can't back a campaign or buy a book, you can share or tweet about these projects to your friends and followers. Or you can also come here every Thursday night when we cover them, and I can tell you about them, share the links as well with you guys, to give you guys a chance to go out and check these projects out as well. Let's see now. Yeah, thank you. Hit the thumbs up. Yep. Thank you, my friend. That does help indeed. So, anyways, as we get ready to continue on here, so on in let's see, on Indie Comics Showcase, we interview the creators, show off some art, and tell you how you can check out the product for yourself. Below, we have some outstanding crowdfunding campaigns this week for you to learn about, enjoy, and hopefully support by backing one or more of them. Thanks for checking these out and for being the best part of Indie Comics Showcase. Let's jump in. Raquel 2, Ghost Town by Doran Corkum. All right. So let's go. So there's a Kickstarter campaign. So let me just go grab that. All right. So here's the link to this first campaign we're going to be looking at here. So here's the link to that Kickstarter if you guys want to go check that out. All right. So as we get ready to All right, so Chris Braley, welcome to this week's Indie Comics Showcase, Doran. What's your elevator pitch for Raquel? Doran Corkum. It is a jarring tale of horror where a shattered Templar Order crusades against demonic forces over the cursed town of Raquel. Raquel, that does sound like a name of a cursed town, doesn't it? uh, Chris, what's the genesis of the tale? Doran, um, this comic is my passion project. Quote, Raquel, unquote, combines my lifelong affection for the horror dark fantasy genre with my admiration for, quote unquote, the Templar Order. Who better to be fending off the darkness and these BA righteous souls? The comic is aimed at teens plus and fans of horror and the dark fantasy genre. Oh, and being a fan of the Templars would be cool. Would be cool. Okay. I believe the Templar Order is the order that the Crusaders were part of usually. The Holy Warriors, as they were known. Let's see. I got to take off, but I will rewatch later. Have a good night. All right. Well, thanks for dropping in, Cement. Hopefully, we can get more people in here. Thanks for dropping in and liking and sharing. So let's see now. All right, so Chris, who is on your creative team? Doran, I had the pleasure of working, in parentheses, once again, with artist AJ Ajay Cerezo on cover and page art. Artists Joaco Gura, Erwin J. Oroza, Jorge A. Castilla, and Derek Stevens also contributed cover art. I do the character design, letter, and graphic design. The picture on the right there looks a little Godzilla-ish. Ah, Rilla Flush. Chris, how far along is the book, and what is something you've learned from the self-publishing process? Doran, all the art is in, and I am not now doing the lettering and editing. Well, I guess they did a bit of a typo there. You need to build and maintain fan relationships. Traditional market as the traditional market does not seem to work. As well, you got to watch for the added expenses, link shipping. I think you're supposed to. So, wow, somebody. Uh, there's some typos here. Obviously, somebody is not editing this article, are they? Ah, shipping, and keep your eyes open for deals on merchandise. Chris, what are your plans beyond this book? Are there more stories to tell? Doran, my website, Whitefire Comics. Okay, okay. Oh, Whitefire guy. Okay, yeah, I know that. I know him. I thought this story sounded a little familiar because I think he was on RJ's the other night. Um, Contains a lot of my plans. Kind of. I think you would have wanted to come to see this show, this coverage, but oh well. Contains a lot of my plans. I have been world building for over 30 years, and am now trying to find my way to bring my realms to the fans. I also have a sci-fi series, quote unquote, the Forsaken Future. Issue number one was a successful Kickstarter last year. I know we talked a lot about this on RJ's channel too. It was on a couple on last week, I believe. Chris, are there any special features in this book or campaign you'd like to mention? Doran, yep, there is a full foil collector's edition, an homage cover to George Romero's Creepshow, three fantastic oversized sketch cards by Ajay, and more. Check out the Kickstarter to see the fantastic art and six covers. That's great, Doran. Anything else you would like? Chris says, that's great, Doran. Anything else you'd like to share with our readers before we sign off? Doran, thank you for Bleeding Fool support. I want to earn the support of horror fans and engulf them in the tale of Raquel. We've already shared the. All right. Let's see if anybody's come on. Nope. Red Eyes by David Feed. All right. So, if this is what is this the same thing I'm thinking of? I think I've seen at least the header for this on RJ's channel. In terms of all the books that he's, I guess. So check out the campaign. So this looks like the Kickstarter here. All right, so let's see. So here's the link to this campaign if you guys want to go check it out. So there's to David Feed's Red Eyes. I want to go check that out. All right, so let's get into this then. Chris Braley, welcome to ICS. David, what can you tell me about your Red Eyes series of comics? David Feed, it's all about a small group of elite insurgent soldiers. It's about a small group of elite insurgent soldiers going on a secret mission to free their land. Deep behind enemy lines, with no hopes of reinforcements, no chance to surrender, will they succeed or die a hero's death? Again, some typos here in the article. Chris, what inspired you to create this comic series? David, I'm inspired by films like The Dirty Dozen and Seven Samurai. Seven Samurai, of course, a classic piece of Japanese literature that's been adapted in many different languages and many different forms. Of course, The Magnificent Seven, a Western movie, here in the States, number of different incarnations, and a television series was also inspired by Seven Samurai. So where small bands of heroes, okay, again another typo, had to face against impossible odds and still do the right thing. The comic will appeal to European comic readers and or males 18 and up. Kind of a Chris, tell me a bit about how approach these stories. How you approach? Some their editor is not doing their job here. I've already caught like 3 or 4 typos already. Actually, no, more like 5 or 6 typos already. Somebody in the editing department seems like they're getting a little lazy there. Be continuing on there then. Let's see. All right. So, David, first writing the lore in chronology, then the story in a draft, and the script page by page. I'm the writer, lead of the project. Christian Culiselli and Raphael Crestani are the main artists. Farah Numaliza has been the main colorist. And Star Italian, I think they meant to say Star Italian, another typo. Somebody's not checking these. Italian artist Andrea Gordino is our cover guy. Chris, so what's your production workflow like? Um, and if it's not complete, how far along are the books? David, right now this campaign is a second chance for issues 1 to 3. They're all complete and ready to ship. Let's see. Chris, what have you been learning from crowdfunding and creating through this process? David, I think I say this every time, but I feel like I need to have more pages finished before starting a crowdfunding campaign. Chris, haha, what are your plans beyond these books? Is this is this catch up campaign meant to precede the next issue? David, yes. The crowdfunding campaign for Red Eyes issue 4 will go live on May 2024. It's meant to say in May 2024, but again, another typo. Somebody in the editing department was really wasn't doing their job this week, were they? Hmm. Chris, great. Before we wrap up, are there any special features or tiers on the campaign you'd like to share? Um, David, yes, you can get an oversized hardcover volume collection, all the issues in this campaign. Um, Chris, nice. Okay, David, any last words? Uh, David, work hard, read comics, don't do drugs. Cheers. That's a little PSA style of messaging there. All right. All right. So now I'm going to get ready to get to the next article here. Let's see. The only one here. This is really going quick tonight. Of course, it's likely to go quick when quick. Yeah, that's cool. Alrighty then. So, anyways, so the next book we're going to be looking at here is, of course, Diary of Dread by Philip Roosert. Interesting art there. They even have the warning at the bottom: mature, mild sexual content and graphic. Let's go grab the link, of course. There's a Kickstarter campaign. Right? So, all right, and there's this one, Diary of Dread. If you guys want to go and check this one out, there's the link. So let's look at this one then. See how many more editorial errors we can find. Chris Braley, welcome to Indie Comic Showcase, Phil. Um, let's say Philip. What was that? I guess. Yeah, Philip Research. Okay. All right. Well, in any kind of showcase, Phil, what's your in smaller quotes elevator pitch for Diary of Dread? Phil Research. Diary of Dread is a 156-page horror anthology magazine in the vein of EC Comics, Creepshow, Vault of Horrors, and Tales from the Crypt. It is a mature comic with 5 full-length terrifying tales, as well as a 10-page preview story by Marvel writer Charles Santino. It is available in color and black and white, along with a written interview by DC artist Tom Mandrake. We have covers by Ben Templesmith of, in parentheses, of 30 Days of Night fame, Tom Mandrake of Batman, Spectre, Martian Manhunter, Alex Sarabia, New York Ripper, and Kevin Stewart. Chris, where did the idea come from for this comic? Or where did the idea for this comic come from and made you decide to self-publish it? Um, Phil. As a writer, I usually write superhero tales but wanted to expand my horizons into other genres. To grow as a writer, I feel I need to be able to write any genre and write it well. Self-publishing is, in my opinion, the best route to take. Um, I also plan to go through distribution with my flagship title, Tragedy. I enjoy the autonomy of self-publishing and creative freedom. Tragedy! When the feeling's gone and can't go on, it's tragedy. Chris, what kind of comic readers is this probably best suited for? Who is it aimed at? Phil, specific title. This specific title is targeting a mature horror audience that appreciates classic horror comic books such as EC Comics titles. Chris, tell me about your writing style and creative process. Phil, I will get a basic idea in my mind. We'll just sit down and write. I don't overthink or worry as I just tell the story, as if I were making up a bedtime story for my kids, or in this case, a spooky story by the campfire. I will later go back and edit the script before going to production. I find it very important to hire the artist that stylistically reflects the mood and genre of the book. That's some good forethought there. Wow, those two kids there look kind of like zombies. Uh, oh wow, you really do have some horrific stuff going on here, don't you? Chris, you've got an impressive creative team that contributed to this project. Who did what? Phil, I am very fortunate to work with an amazing team of artists. Alex Sarabia with inks, by Gary Giroux. Or Alex Sarabia with inks. Alex Sarabia with inks by Gary Giroux, illustrated 2 stories. Rod Rodolfo penciled and inked 2 stories, and Ricardo Silva with Gary Giroux inks illustrated 1 story. Febri Ferdian, Antonio Diaz, and Fabio de Silva Banderas are the cover artists. Jason Meadows lettered the entire book. Charles Santino, who wrote Conan for Marvel in the late 80s and early 90s, wrote a 10-page story as well. Another anthology, obviously. With some very explicit material there, to say the least. Let's see now. Anybody come in? Nope. All right. So, anyways, getting back to the article here. Let me just double check. Okay, so we're making good time. Let's see, Chris. An anthology is a massive undertaking. What's your production workflow like? And if it's not complete, how far along is the book? Phil, I had several stories being produced at the same time, and the entire 156-page magazine was completed in 6 months and currently being crowdfunded. I always produce the books prior to any crowdfunding campaign in order to fulfill quickly and have a product to market and promote. I model my company and production schedule in the fashion of a monthly distributed book to be well prepared for nationwide distribution to local comic shops. So this guy's looking to become like his own publishing company then as well. Hmm. All right. Chris, what have you been learning from self-publishing crowdfunding through this process? Phil, I have learned editing skills, production, scheduling, managing the many different disciplines involved in producing a book, and my writing continually improves. Through self-publishing, I have learned the different aspects of the industry, such as distribution, marketing, and increased my network of creatives and artists. Chris, are there more Diary of the Dread to be told? Um, Phil, this magazine is planned to be an annual magazine with the same format of the full length stories and the 10-page preview. I have 8 horror scripts written for future volumes, as well as publishing other creators' stories through this magazine. Volume 2 is projected for fall of 2024. Huh, we go again with this. Same picture we just saw before there. Ah, uh, let's see. Chris, anything specific about the campaign or project you'd like to mention? Phil, there is a 2-page written interview with DC Dark Horse artist Tom Mandrake. Who we have variant covers by Ben Templesmith, Tom Mandrake, Alex Sarabia, and Kevin Stewart. I will be including metal covers and prints to the campaign in the middle of the campaign cycle to bolster interest. So look, this guy's got a few plans there to try to get more people to get the book. At least this guy's not doing like what Tim Sheridan did and not like begging people to buy his book. So that's a good sign. Anyways, um, Chris, nice. It looks great. Anything final comments for our readers before we sign off? Again, another bit of a that was more of a grammatical issue, not as much a type of more of a grammatical issue there. Phil, comics have shifted from a reader fan base to a collector fan base. As a 40 plus year reader of comic books, I wanted to publish comic books that told stories that resonate with readers and provide captivating tales, worlds, and characters you can relate to. Filbo Publishing takes pride in producing books that make fans want to read again. Filbo, so I guess that stands for Phil Books or something like that. Filbo Publishing. All right, so that's it for this installment. If you're a creator ramping up your own campaign or have a comic available for purchase online and you want to be featured in our weekly column, click here and follow Indie Comics Showcase on Twitter at Indie Comics. Reach out to them for more eyes on your crowdfunding comic project. Till next time, support Indie Comics. Alrighty then, so there we go with that one. So now, with all that being said, of course, we're gonna jump right into the. So that I can find the cursor here. Go ahead and, of course, just to highlight once again here, just so people know, Raquel 2 Ghost Town. There's a link for that one if you guys want to check that out. Red Eyes, there's a link to that one if you guys want to check that out. And Diary of Dread, there's a link there. So 3 books you guys, if you guys are interested in, you can go check out. So, anyways, now let's get on to the wrestling wrap up. As of course, just getting caught up on a number of interesting news pieces here. All right. So first out on the WWE side of things, so with the Hollywood strike, of course, coming to finally being resolved, apparently now it would seem that John Cena is done for the time being with the WWE as basically it looks like he'll be getting ready to head back to Hollywood to go back and start filming his series again, Peacemaker and all that. And he's dropped hints of retirement too. So now another former WWE superstar has essentially indicated he has no plans on coming back is Tyson Kidd, who of course is currently a producer with the WWE, suffered a career-ending injury back in 2015, and some people have wondered if he could come back, much like Edge and Daniel Bryan did, but he doesn't seem to be. He does not seem to be interested in coming back to becoming a active in-ring competitor again. He's enjoying his role as. And some of the deals are also finalizing for some of so starting in 2024, of course, SmackDown will be moving over to the USA Network. NXT will be doing their show on CW. They're just still trying to figure out what they're going to do with Raw. There's also been some talk that Raw might be moving from its longtime home of Monday nights to another night during the week. So but stay tuned for that. And there's also been some talk that TKO Media Holdings is looking possibly to move the WWE pay-per-views to Friday nights in the hopes of maybe trying to do some kind of super weekend with both their with both the WWE and the UFC involvement. So that's all the WWE news we have for you. Now, of course, on last night's Dynamite, as we move on to AEW, a lot of things were going on, not just with the matches themselves, but also but also in terms of setting things up for Full Gear a week from this Saturday. So in the opening match, MJF defeated Daniel Garcia to retain as he defended the AEW World Title. And in a very interesting twist there, after the match, he went to try to shake Daniel Garcia's hand, only for Matt Menard and Angelo Parker to stop Daniel from shaking his hand. Again, as we're watching the slow demise of the remnants of the Jericho Appreciation Society, may be, as it's now down to, looks like Anna Jake Hager, Garcia, Menard, and Parker. You have to almost wonder if it's going to be like the new Dark Order in this case. After now in this case, of course, Chris Jericho obviously has not died. He simply went off on his own, and a lot of the guys left him. So, but I guess we'll wait and see. In a potential tune-up here for both their event at Full Gear, as well as their upcoming 6-man match this Saturday with Edge on their side, taking on on the Saturday's Collision with them taking on the Righteous and Lance Archer. Darby Allin and Sting teamed together to defeat the Outrunners in just under 3 minutes. Swerve Strickland defeated Penta El Zero Miedo in a one-on-one match, and basically a situation that saw Hangman Adam Page come out and go after Swerve, for Swerve breaking into Adam Page's home. And of course, on last night's Dynamite, Adam Page, after the match, he delivered a dead eye to Swerve Strickland through a table after the match. Samoa Joe retained the Ring of Honor World Television title in his defense against Keith Lee by a referee's decision, as Samoa Joe choked out Keith Lee, which led to what many people have been somewhat critical of, as well as a little perplexed. After the match, now granted, up to this point, Samoa Joe had a 547-day reign as Ring of Honor World Television Champion. He, so about a year and a half, basically. He, in what some might argue would be a case of he's basically beating everybody, so it's like, now granted, Samoa Joe is, in the last few weeks here, has been basically trying to goad MJF into a world title match. Samoa Joe's made it clear that he wants the AEW world title. Now, could this be AEW's way of dropping a hint that Samoa Joe will be involved in the next program with MJF after MJF's program is done with Jay White here? If they're planning on keeping the title on him, that is, of course. MJF has got a lot of people gunning for him, some more literally than others. Of course, at Full Gear next Saturday, on the countdown show, the Guns will be trying to wrest the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles against MJF and a partner of his choosing, and then he'll have to face Jay White for the AEW World title later on that night. And then let's see, after that, of course, speaking of the Guns, Austin Colton Gunn, they defeated the Bollywood Boys in 40 seconds. Julia Hart in her first match in a month, took on the returning Red Velvet, who'd been out for a year, to basically end up defeating her with a moonsault. And then in the main event, Jay White defeated Mark Briscoe. So, with a lot of lead up to Full Gear next week, as we're still going to be looking at all that stuff. So, anyways, moving on to now, of course, as we just mentioned, of course, Samoa Joe relinquished the Ring of Honor World Television Championship on last night's Dynamite. So that was one of the big Ring of Honor news pieces. On tonight, and I think he did it again on tonight's episode. Other than that, on tonight's Honor Club, in a proving ground match, Athena will have Billy Starks in her corner. Will be taking on Heidi Howitzer. Now, the proving ground matches, for those of you who don't know, are basically if a challenger will challenge the champion for a shot at the title in question. In this case, Athena will be fending off the potential challenge of Heidi Howitzer. If Howitzer wins tonight, she will get a match for the Ring of Honor Women's World Title at a later date. Eddie Kingston defends the Ring of Honor World Title against Angelico, and as I recall on tonight's show as well, Dalton Castle has indicated he wants that title as well. Those are a couple of the bigger matches, and then of course in an 8-man tag, Axe Andretti teams with Darius Martin and the Infantry of Carly Bravo and Sean Dean to take on the Shane Taylor Promotions tag team of Lee Moriarty and Shane Taylor, and the Wingmen of Peter Avalon and Ryan Nemeth. Those are among the things going on tonight's Ring of Honor Club show. Also going on tonight, of course, TNA Impact on this week's episode of Impact. On tonight's episode, Alex Shelley will be defending the Impact World Title against Jonathan Gresham. Eric Young takes on Eddie Edwards. Brian Myers takes on Joe Hendry. Tommy Dreamer will be defending the Digital Media title against Crazy Steve. And Deonna Purrazzo takes on Tasha Steelz. Basically in a match that was set up after the two of them lost the match against MK Ultra at Bound for Glory for the on the pre-show there for Bound for Glory. Well, on the main event Monday's match. So that's pretty much all that's happened there. So with that, today being Thursday, November 9th, 2023, let's take a look back at this day in each history. So let me just 93, 98, 2018, and 2013. All right, so first off, head back 30 years ago today to 1993. And on this date in 1993, the 420th issue of Archie went on sale on this date back in 1993. It sold for $1.25, which 32 pages. Had 4 features in it, all Archie features, including It's a Soldier Man, Wrapped Up in Christmas, Teen Cleaner, and Double Trouble. On this date, back in 1993, 30 years ago today, the 420th issue of Archie went on sale on this date, 30 years ago today. Now moving on to 1998, as on this date, 25 years ago today, former NWA World Midgets Champion Sky Lolo, real name Marcel Gordier, passed away at the age of 70. Of course, Sky Lolo was a legendary midget wrestler. He was involved in at one point in one of the first WrestleManias. Called the Little Atlas of the wrestling world. He was the PWI Midget Wrestler of the Year in 1975. Also a former NWA World Midgets Champion. And of course, has been inducted into both Stampede Wrestling Hall of Fame and Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame and Museum. So, on this date, 25 years ago today, Sky Lolo, the legendary midget wrestler, passed away at the age of 70. Moving ahead to 2013, which was 10 years ago today. On this date, 10 years ago today, let's see. Studio Rika's Paterna Inverted premiered in Japanese theaters on this date back in 2013. This date back in 2013, Studio Rika's Paterna Inverted premiered in Japanese theaters. And finally, going back 5 years ago today, on this date, 5 years ago today, let's see, Universal Pictures, The Grinch, or also known as Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, had its United States premiere on this date 5 years ago today. Universal Pictures' The Grinch premiered 5 years ago today. Now this is I guess a more of a modern adaptation of the earlier movie How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But on this day, 5 years ago today, The Grinch from Universal Pictures premiered in the United States. So with that, I thank y'all for being here. Let's see. Hey, JR. Hail Xenu popped away for a sandwich. Thought I'd thank you for show. Thank you for dropping in. I hope you helped out by liking and sharing the stream as well. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. But, anyways, we will be back here, of course, tomorrow as the metal from the Vomitorium will be joining me as we will be on sale in December of 1939. We'll be, of course, looking at specifically the comics that went on sale from Quality Comics, Smash Comics Volume 1, Number 7, and Feature Comic Volume 1, Number 29. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see you all back here tomorrow. Bye.